Beautiful morning from Melaka, everybody. Let's continue our second leg of the tour today. Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to our world tour in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thank you for the amazing feedback in the past episode and in the prologue even. Lots of well wishes, lots of people interested. I think the most engaging part was that no GPS challenge kind of deal. Dealing with conventional means of navigation, which is something I really like. So glad you guys are sharing that enthusiasm. Alright. But let's open the windows here because it is quite hot. It's currently, what? Actually, it shouldn't be that hot. 20 something degrees. It's a bit dark. Clouds are a bit mad. Thunder all over the place, but we'll make it work. Thank you for the amazing feedback, guys. The inputs, the comments, and you might notice that we actually have a custom airport now, as you saw in the beginning of the video. Thanks to Adventure for telling me about this. Apparently there is a custom airport for Melaka in Flight Sim 2. So that's what I downloaded because by default it shouldn't even be in the sim. That's why we had no taxiways in there initially. But now we do. And it looks as proper as ever. So no complaints here at all. Thank you also for commenting that you guys are enjoying the whole thing. You know, the pre-flight, going through the checklist, not rushing it. And that's a very good point that you guys raised. That probably viewers of the channel, viewers of these videos, probably not in the mood for rushing things, right? It's more about chilling and enjoying our time together. So let's do just that, okay? So let's cover the interior. Let's even do the run-up later, and we can adjust as we go. We can always remove it later on, but for now, I'll keep everything in there, and then we can trim it down later on as we proceed to refine the stuff. Right, avionics are off. Mixture is lean. Magnetos, that's actually the often thing I forget to turn off. Batteries are on. Fuel quantities. Let's go and check the fuel quantities. Bit lower than what I would want. Let's top that up to 50% again. You can see it's almost even Steven. Not bad at all. So in terms of that switching of the fuel tanks that we've started doing, it's kind of working, right? Every 15 minutes. Annunciator panel, lights are lighting up. That is working. Battery can be turned off again to save up on the voltage. Flight controls. Let's check first if they're free. They are free. Even the rudders sound good. And are they correct? Left, right, right, left. Stabilizer, forward, back. Looking good there. Right. Flaps wise, do we have the flaps working properly? And because of this plane is such a well thought of simulation, it's actually imperative that we do these checks because sometimes you could actually break these things from what I've heard. Even the run-up we should be doing. I was watching Flying Fabio stream the other day and they were doing the run-up procedures and they saw something wrong with the magnetos. So it is something that we need to check to make sure that we have a safe flight, which is amazing. That's the kind of simulation that we want, right? Alright, pre-flight exterior checks I've done already outside a while ago as I was preparing for this video. Circuit breakers, let's just do a quick check in there. Everything is in, that's good. Alternate air is off, that's this guy over here. Prop RPM lever, go for max RPM, not that guy, this guy. And then the fuel selector for in the fullest tank. In our case, either would work because we topped them up equally. Right, engine start, good. Throttle to half travel. Battery switch to on. Alternator, turn that on as well. Maybe not that guy, but okay. There you go. Beacons, turn those on. Nav lights are these guys, this behind the RPM here. That also takes care of lighting up the radio panel. Alright, we'll be pressing the primer button in here. Pay close attention to the fuel flow. Let's zoom that in here. The fuel pressure here in the fuel flow would increase. So primer, nothing is happening yet, but when I move the mixture lever full, see the fuel pressure increasing, fuel flow, couple of seconds. Even changes the sound, right? Depending on how forward the mixture is. Love that. Alright, clear prop. Start the ignition. Zoom out a bit so we can see that propeller spinning. Hey, clear prop. Oh, that guy is just relentless. There we go. Pull back the throttle to 1500 RPM. Beautiful sounds coming out from that window. Might be a tad too loud though. Let's close that up. Get our yoke back in. Looking good. Start successful. Magnetos both at just 1500 RPM. And let's check that the oil pressure is looking good. Where is it? That guy. Oil pressure, yes, in the green. Oil temperature still a bit cold, but all already good. It's going to heat up later as we apply more power. Looking good right there. Alright. It's taxi. Let's turn on our landing lights. A bit dark in here. So the clouds is also start turning on our avionics. Turn that on. COM 1 and COM 2. Nav 1 and Nav 2 will also turn on. Those are already tuned in. 117.4 is the VOR here in Melaka. 116.1 is the one in Kuala Lumpur. Let's go to altitude reporting so I don't forget that. Let's check. So we also make sure that we are hitting all those spots. 030 will be the runway heading. Good. Taxi area is clear. Before we do that though, let's brief this procedure, right? Because we will be following a standard instrument departure. Ooh, fancy. Let me show you. So this is the airport. We now have something in here. We are right across here. If I turn on the GPS here, it should detect where we are there exactly. But we'll not be using that because we're not using GPS. So it's going to be a quick taxi via Alpha to runway 030 heading, and we'll be doing the what do you call it? IRMIB to Quebec departure, which would take us on a 030 track up to 2,000 feet. So at or above 2,000, we turn left. Yes, turn left on a where was it? Actually, SAPAT to Quebec is what we are following. My bad. SAPAT to Quebec is what we're following. So turn left at or above 2,000 on a 292 heading, and we will intercept the 323 radial from the Melaka VOR. So if you look at this VOR, 117.4, draw a line 323 degrees. That's going to the northwest, right? 323 degrees. Draw a line, and that's the point. That's SAPAT right here at or above 7,000. That's the line we are going to be intercepting, and then we'll be following from there. That's how the departure works, right? And from there, we'll be going to the Kuala Lumpur. We'll be flying over the airport actually. So you can see this is the departure, this pink line, and this straight line here is going to be the track that leads to the VOR for Kuala Lumpur. And from there, we'll be enjoying this entire area is Kuala Lumpur city center, or well, the entire city, lots of different regions in there. And then we'll be following the arrival to a smaller airport. Will not be going to the international airport itself. A bit smaller one is where we're going, a bit more apt, a bit more proper for our size of the plane. Yes, but we'll brief that as we go. But that's the general idea. Alright, let's continue, and I have a few more things to share with you. Taxi area is as clear as it can be with this guy forever in the way. Fine. Okay. Release the brakes. Immediately check if the brakes are working. Yes, they are. Good. And the flight instruments, maybe let's turn on our lighting there. Oh, that looks beautiful. Let's not forget the DME indicator as well here. 1 second. There you... Oh, it's hard to see. There it is. 41.7. Going to Kuala Lumpur, and Nav1 DME is 0.3 because that's sitting right here in the airport. Good. Now the altimeters, is that something that... Altimeter setting, I just glossed over it, huh? My bad. Okay, let me check windy.com. Let me actually show you. Let me show you. I also have windy.com as always. This is Melaka. You can see there are different spellings. Melaka with a double C or Melaka with a K, which is that one. That's the local term. Melaka with a double C is the anglicized word, which I don't think we should be using anymore. I read an article back in 2017, I think, stating that the government, Malaysian government, decided that it's going to always be Melaka to be more consistent and less confusing. So let's stick with Melaka in this case. 1009er would be somewhere there. It's also a line this side here. 1009er. That looks to be good. Alright. Perfect. Let's not gloss over the checklist because it will literally save our life. Turn indicator is working. Also the compass heading is working. HSI looking good. Alright, let's taxi over here and we'll do the run-up procedures as well. Ground check. Cool. We'll do the run-up right before we enter the runway. Maybe somewhere here actually. This might be a run-up area, huh? Yeah, they have these open areas. Maybe we can hang out there and face the runway heading, face into the wind. So I saw a windsock in here. There it is. Actually, winds are pretty calm, so it wouldn't really matter that much. But yes, we can hang out here. Right there. Parking brake. My goodness, the lightning rather. Alright, parking brake is set. Mixture is rich. Set propeller max RPM, and then the throttle set to 2000 RPM. Let's go and push that forward until RPM goes to 2000. Up, not too much, not too much. 2000. So apologies in advance, guys, for the length of these videos, okay? But I'm enjoying every bit of it. The preparation, the loading, the blabbering. So we'll trim it down later on, and maybe I'll try and edit some of it out if needed, but your inputs are more than welcome. Let me know which parts you would want to keep. Alright, so I put in the left mag only, not both, and we got 100 RPM drop going to 150. Should be max 150 RPM drop. That's exactly it. That's 150. That's amazing. Go back to both. So what I saw is that in Fabio's stream, that actually got to 200 RPM decrease. So it's like his magnetos, I don't know, his spark plugs were fouling, or, but yeah, his engines were not in tip-top shape. So that level of simulation is put in here, and it could be a cause of problems as we fly if we don't do these checks. So yes, I would rather keep them here. I'd definitely be doing them. There we go, 150 RPM drop. Moving to the right mag only. Go back to both. So that looks good. 150 RPM max decrease. And if we go back to the left here, and then we switch to the right, there should only be a 50 RPM max difference between left to right and right to left. So there we have that, around what is that, 1850 RPM. Moving to the right one, didn't really change much. That's great, barely changed at all. That looks good. Set that back to both. Awesome. Vacuum gauge around 4.9. Should be good. Oil pressure is good. Look at how hot the oil temperature is now, because we've been starting to work the engine. That's looking good. Ammeter should be over here. Annunciators test that they're all lighting up. Yes, they are. Propeller, okay, so propeller we exercised in full forward, so we would retard the propeller. So we would do this very quickly. We wouldn't want that to be prolonged. That's not very healthy. Let's do that a couple more times. One. Wait it to go back up to 2000. Now this process does take a while, right? So I'm not really sure if I want to continue with this in the future episodes, but I'm going to show it to you now, and then we can decide together if you want to keep it. Because I can do this on my own and I just bring you guys in when we are about to take off. More than okay with that as well. Alternate air is off. Aux boost pump is off. Yes. Fuel pressure is good in the green. Engine idle now, so we are pulling back on the throttle fully, and then we will have a look if the RPMs will stay in the around 600 to 650 RPM. So that's 500, that's 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, it's around 700 RPM. I guess that's as close as we'll get. Alright, so now let's go back to 1200 RPM. And run up is complete. Alright, looking good. Before takeoff checks. Battery switch is on. Alternators are on. Alternator is on. Strobe lights not yet. Let's turn that on as we're entering the runway. Landing light is on. Aux boost pump I think should be in the low, to be honest. I'm not sure why it says off here. Fuel selector should be left, that's okay. Engine gauges, we just checked that, it's good. Mixture is full rich. Max RPM. Flaps, we're not using any flaps today, so flaps are retracted. Trims are set in the middle. Cabin door is closed and latched. Okay, we are ready. We've done all the checks, guys. Let's do this. Finally, after how many? 17 minutes. We're ready to take off. But then again, why rush things? When things are this good, why make them end quickly? Also, if you're wondering about that blinking yellow light, something I learned recently, we should actually have that blinking during takeoff and landing. So if I miss that, let me know, okay? That has something to do with the retraction, the automatic gear extension rather, mechanism. Alright, looking good. 40 inches, 41 inches manifold pressure. Release the brakes. Everything looking good. Temps are nice. Airspeed's alive. Keeping center line here. One hand on the yoke, one hand on the throttle. 60 knots, 70 knots, and this whirlwind will be rotating. There we go, 70 knots. Just apply gentle back pressure. Lovely. Lovely. Okay. Oh, that's something I forgot. Setting the HSI. That's okay, we can set it as we go. Positive rate, tap the brakes. Gear up. Keep it. Trim it at 100 knots. Keep climbing until 2000, right? Remember? And then we will be turning left. So let me open the chart here on a separate screen so I can remember what to do. 292 is where we'll be turning left later on as we reach 2000 feet. Okay. But until then, let's keep this heading. Now what I missed is setting the course to 323 over here. That's the intercept. Remember that one? Where we will be intercepting the 323 radial, drawing a 323 line from the radial, from the VOR. 123, that's 323 degrees. Great. Okay. Let's keep it here. 1000 feet. Let's turn off the boost pump and the landing lights. Let's also start the timer so that we can switch tanks every 15 minutes or so. And this guy here, we can now probably turn off There we go, no more light. That enables the automatic landing gear extension when needed. Good. Let's start pulling back on the throttle here, going to 33 inches. Manifold pressure for a steady climb, 2,000 feet. Start turning left. Pulling back on the RPM a little bit as well to 2450 RPM. That looks good. Right, so let's turn left, heading 292 as indicated, as briefed in the departure. So that's 330. That's 300. That's 292. Somewhere around that point should be close enough. Nice. Thank you, Melaka. Amazing. Okay. And actually, you guys have been telling me to asking me if I wanted to maybe tour around the place a bit. That's actually a good idea, right? That's a very good idea. So let's do that. But let me first aviate, navigate, communicate, then we'll do that. So one step at a time. Okay, looking good here. Let's go ahead and turn on our autopilot. Let's go ahead and say heading mode, yes. Heading AP on. That will enable the lateral autopilot. The altitude we'll still have to manage on our own, so I'll have to trim it up. So that one I'll still have to manage, but at least the lateral guidance, moving left or right, the plane can handle for me. Less workload. Okay, let's also start leaning the mixture here. So for an economy kind of flight, we'd want it to be looking at the peak EGT. So I'm leaning the mixture, pulling back on it. You can see the EGT climbing. At some point it will peak out, and then any more pulling back of the mixture will make it lower. What we want to find is that peak. Specifically for these engines, they are behaving the best when it's the leanest. They're behaving the most economically when they're at their leanest point. I'm not sure I should be crossing over that red line though, so you might have to be careful of that area. Not go beyond that peak EGT, that red line from the EGT. Okay, 100 knots, looking good here. Still have not intercepted this point. You can see the HSI. This yellow line here should get closer as we get close to the VOR. So let me can do that automatically. If I switch here to nav, this guy, then the plane should take care of following that radial for me automatically. That's great. By the way, we'll be cruising today at 6,000 feet. Based on windy.com, that seems to be a nice, comfortable cruise altitude. No clouds. Seems to be consistent, yes. So we'll continue that climb and keep it there. Right? 2450 on the RPM. Everything looking good. Let's do the checks here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Brakes up. Brake. Tap the brakes. Gear up. Flaps have always been up. Airspeeds, yes, around 100 knots. There we go. You can see the plane turning now, following that radial. And it's now heading on a 332 radial in there. Okay. Things starting to load heavily. Biggest stutters I've ever seen. This might be related to some sceneries that I've downloaded. That could be the downside of those sceneries, huh? Yikes. Okay, bear with me, guys. Hopefully that will end soon. Okay, there we go. Things have loaded in. Biggest stutters ever. Okay, looking good. So now we are continuing on this 323 radial until 20.6 DME. Right now we're only at 7.3 and going farther and farther. But that's okay. That's okay. I also have to continue pushing forward on the throttle as we climb, going back to 33 inches. Because as we climb, that manifold pressure will lower and lower as the air density lowers, as I understand correctly. Although we are reaching 6,000 feet soon. Man, this is lovely, isn't it? Just beautiful views all over. And although we have some thick clouds, it's still quite up there. So no worries. Right, let's go pull back the throttle to around 29 inches of manifold pressure. I'm going to push forward on the yoke and trim it out so that we stay at 6,000 feet here. There you go, that's 6,000, that's perfect. Come on, come on, there it is, that's perfect, 6,000. Let's see if it will trim out there, or if it'll try to go up again. It's still going up, so let's trim it out more. Come on, a bit more aggressive trimming required. And this is the fun of it, the balancing part. Okay, that's relatively trimmed out. We'll fine tune that later, but first let's go and look for that peak EGT. Alright, so the peak EGT is somewhere here. That's the most economical. Right. And also, we'll go to 2200 RPM. So I'm setting this up for a very economical cruise. 55% power. It's 2200 RPM, that's perfect. Very easy on the ears. Not screaming at us anymore. And looking lovely as ever. Look at those mountains on the right, huh? Alright, so now that we're finally settled, we're waiting for 15 minutes before we switch tanks. We're waiting for 20.6 DME before we start our turn towards Kuala Lumpur. 29 miles away from Kuala Lumpur Airport, International Airport. So we have a few minutes to spare. We're relatively trimmed out. I'm completely hands-free here. That's good enough for me. Yes, okay, looking good. Looking good, guys. Alright, so you guys told me you might want a bit of touring here, right? TripAdvisor might be a good place to be at. Actually registered for an account here because we could do this. What could we find in Melaka? Well, so this is the correct spelling now, Melaka, right? The Melaka with double C, we should stay away from that now. And look at this. I'm not sure if any of you guys are dog lovers, but I sure want to visit that one. Husky Tori. Show home and gallery. Is this like a dog cafe? No, 1 second. Show home and gallery. Oh, lots of huskies. That's so cute. Oh, look at those. So many dogs. For dog lovers out there, that will be amazing. Straits Mosque, there is some amazing food in here as well. Oh, look at that. Yes. We went here back in 2014, if I remember correctly, in real life. Quite a nice place to be. We took a shuttle from Singapore, so we were in a coach bus. Took us to this point. I think it took like 6 hours or so to get here from Singapore. How long did it take us via plane? 1 hour? Super cool, right? There's lots of landmarks. You can see it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Melaka. Rich trading history and multicultural heritage. The food here is amazing. Yes. Oh, that is super cool. And of course, in Malaysia, you have lots more things that you can enjoy. Particularly now, we are going to Kuala Lumpur, the capital. So we hope to see more of that here soon. 1 second though. Ooh, what is this? I actually have some blinds in. Oh, that's nice. You can see even the reflections are changing based on the angle of the mirror. But what is that? Is that reflecting off here? Ah, interesting. Okay, but yes, let's see. It's currently what is that, around 16 degrees Celsius? 16 degrees, okay. We're at 6,000 feet, so let's get our true airspeed in here. So I'll be looking for 6,000. That's 6 stands for 6,000 altitude, pressure altitude here. And then the temperature, we match that with the outside air temperature, which is around 15 degrees. So around, this is positive 10, this is positive 20, so somewhere in between those. Right? So let's put the 6,000 right maybe there. That's close enough. So we're actually, even though our indicated airspeed is saying 125, 126 knots, our true airspeed is actually 143. Nice, I'll take it. And for an economy flight, look at our fuel consumption here, guys. Our fuel flow is only 10 gallons per hour. That is amazing. That's almost the lowest part there. I love that. Yeah, this kind of setting is the setting I'll be using moving forward because it's very fuel economic and it's going to be perfect for our world tour when we'll have to travel very far. So that's the place I'll go. Oh, I think we kind of we shot over our DME 20.6, so we should start our turn already. Let's see. So let's put in 116.1. Okay, go to nav mode first. Let's find that course that takes us direct to the Kuala Lumpur VOR. I think it's Takeoff VOR. There you go. And just say nav, take me there directly. And the autopilot should take care of it. But because we're banking here, I should pull on the yoke so we don't lose altitude. I still have to pull on the yoke manually. So it's not that automatic still, which is something I like. That's great to have, you know, like half autopilot, so you're still fully engaged. Getting close to 15 minutes here as well. Okay, good. Why is the yoke completely gone there? Let's click that back in. I just love this world tour. Thank you guys for sharing the enthusiasm with me. And sorry if it's a bit long in the length, right? The video length. I know some people prefer 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Let me know your ideal duration and let me know which parts you want to be in there, like the startup, the run-up. Let me know and then I'll see which would be the common sentiment and we'll try and keep it that way. Keep it as close as possible. Okay? By the way, thanks a lot to Plum. I'm not sure if he's watching these videos because it's a bit long for him, I think. Plum recommended a very nice tool. So FlightSim.2, we all know that already, right? But apparently there's also a FlightSim.2 scenery map. So this is the site, flightsim.2/scenery-map. And you can actually see each of the plugins available depending on your region. So what I just do now, as he recommended, is basically check where we are, right? And see, okay, this one, we actually have a Kuala Lumpur airport that's a plugin, an add-on. So I click that, that's the one, and I go there, and I downloaded this one. So I'll keep on doing that as we make our way across the world. And yeah, so I got some of these as well. This guy and this guy. Actually, this one I didn't get. But this one I wanted because this is exactly where we're going. Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport, Subang. Not sure how you pronounce that, but yeah, nowadays it's not found anymore. I guess they took it down somewhat, which is sad. But yeah, you can see we will be flying over Kuala Lumpur itself. So we're headed to the airport, which is outside the city limits, but here you can see Kuala Lumpur in its entirety. And we'll be flying over that all across, so should be up for some sights here. 14 miles away from the Tekong VOR, that's the one. That's the airport already. Expect some stutters as we get closer, but should be good. 1 second, did I mention Tekong VOR? Not sure where I got that. I might have mixed it up with Singapore. Sorry, it's Kuala Lumpur VOR. Straight as that, simple as that. Yes, Kuala Lumpur VOR. What can we find in Kuala Lumpur? TripAdvisor, don't fail us now. Okay, let's go. We are on a world tour after all, so let's see what we can tour in here. Kuala Lumpur, this guy. Let's see. Start planning for Kuala Lumpur. Oh, of course, yes. What do they call this? Yeah, we've been here a couple of times. Yes, Petronas Twin Towers. That's the iconic building in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur specifically. But what I really love doing when I go anywhere, and in particular in KL, I'm going to continue calling it KL, okay, is the food. The food is glorious, especially when you go to those areas that the locals frequent. Not those tourist traps, but more the places that the locals go to on an everyday basis. Those are the ones I really like. So much variety in the food. Yeah, because in Malaysia you have a lot of different cultures. So you have like Indian food in there, you have like Chinese food, and you have like Malay food. And all of them are good. If you ever go, guys, eating is the best advice I could give you. Go eat, go on food tours and whatnot. Lots of different sites in here. Let's go and see all of them, what we can do here. KL Tower admission. Oh, there's a KL Tower as well. So there's a Petronas Twin Towers, these two guys. And then there's a KL Tower, like the TV tower that's very famous in cities. Cool. Okay. Very interesting. Alright, let's have a look. Oh, there's the airport. Okay. I'm not sure if the plugin I got would have the Twin Towers in there, but keep your eyes peeled. Maybe we'll see that. Now where could it be? That's a good question. Well, we can consult the map, right? We can consult the map. But first, let's brief the arrival a bit, because of the arrival will start soon here. And it's 17 minutes already, and I'm late, of course. I need a better timer. Put the fuel pump to low. Switch our fuel tanks in here. Make sure fuel pressure is still good, fuel flow is still good, no coughing on the engine. Alright, now we're consuming fuel from the right tank, which is proper because now, yeah, you can see we're like 5 gallons different from each tank. That's okay. Oh, there it is. Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Whiskey Mike, Kilo. Good. We're 6 miles away. Let's go ahead and check out the arrival here. The Caledonian 1 arrival. Now we're not following it exactly. We're a bit like the vertical altitude constraints I didn't follow exactly, so maybe that's shame on me, but just for the sake of the views, the sights, so we can see better from below, skip that. Hopefully no one catches me. But yes, this is the Kuala Lumpur VOR. Yes, 116.1, that's the one we tracked over there. And we'll be going on a 328 track, 328 radial, all the way, descending bit by bit. And then we'll make a right turn, like a U-turn, because the airport is actually here. So we're like on a left downwind leg, turning base, turning final. That's the gist of it. Yeah, but I should remember that 328 radial because I have to set it up soon. Actually, you know what? I'll set it up now. So 328 radial. Let's put that in. Let's go to heading mode first. 328. So that's 330. 2928. That should be more or less enough. Let's have a look outside. I can turn off the boost pump now. Okay. Let's go and check outside how this airport looks. This is custom now. Oh, that's even more beautiful. Much more detailed. I expect some stutters to happen as we get nearer, because the ground planes will have to load in. But yeah, look how many runways that guy has. 1, 2, 3 runways? Physical runways? Yeah, and I've heard it's like 100 square kilometers in terms of the dimensions. Oh, there we go. There's the stutters. I'll try not to move as much as possible to minimize the impact. My goodness, this is going to be a very long video, guys. I think I'll have to edit it out. Not really sure how it should work. But we are, yeah, we'll think about it. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let's see. Okay, start our turn here. Just little by little. And then look at those clouds, how they make shadows on the ground. You can actually see pockets, openings. As the cloud opens up, you can see the changes in the lighting as well. Very nice. There we go. Start our turn. Beautiful. Let's go to nav mode. Follow that radial. Awesome. Oh, see something up there. That's the airport we're going to, I think. Yeah. There it is. In better view. Not too shabby. So many towers. You should see plenty of Air Asia planes in here. Whenever we go to this airport, Air Asia is like dominant in this area. Red planes everywhere. The Air Asia livery. Yeah, there goes the nice sights. Ah, cool. Alright, 6,000 feet. Maintaining. That trim is working perfectly. I haven't touched the yoke in a while. I'm actually proud. Looking good. Fuel flow. Yeah, 10 gallons per hour still. I like it. Timer is continuing. Switch it up at 30 minutes. Should be fine. Even if we're not exactly on the dot, as long as we have some kind of guidance. Alright, so let's continue that briefing. So if we go through here, we're right on this part now, 328 radial. Making our way northwest. And it's going to take a while. So you can see at the 38 DME, yeah, from Victor Kilo Lima, that's the Kuala Lumpur VOR, 38 miles away is when we start our right turn towards final approach. ILSDME 110.3. Okay, but you also see something here. There is actually an NDB here, this circle, I believe. Do they mark it? 1 second. If you go to the ILS chart, yeah, it's the, I'm just going to call it Caledonian NDB. So when we make our right turn later, we should try and aim to cross that NDB. Yeah, fly over it and then follow through. We'll see how that works. We'll adjust as necessary. But first we need to tune this, and this is an NDB, so we have to use our ADF receiver for it. So we go to this point, that's the ADF, and it says, what did it say? 205, right? 205, okay. So we put in 205. And that's not going to work yet because it's in the off position. So we put this under ADF. See where my mouse is. And the needle on the left side should come alive. I think we should be near enough. Right, so let's see. ADF. There it is. It's come alive. And what this does, what this says is the NDB is that way. But you can see numbers in here that's not really aligned. This is very primitive. So I think you just still have to like do it like this. Align this manually with your current heading so that it makes sense. Or not read those numbers at all and just look at the arrow. That just is important for determining where the NDB is in relation to us. Yes, I like these things. I like all these details. My goodness, it's so fun. Oh, Bit of city tour on there. And that is beautiful. Lots of highways. I've been to KL a couple of times. Mrs. Clumsy went here for a business trip. We stayed in KL for like a week, I think. So we managed to go around the area. She knows of a few locals who told us some nice areas, some local areas to go to. Oh, what is that building? Could that be the Petronas Twin Towers? Not so sure. I'll have to look at the map. Oh, we were planning on doing that, right? So let's see. Things to do in Kuala Lumpur. Is there like a map? This guy. Create a trip? Is that something? Okay, is that going to work? View your trip, okay. Trip to Kuala Lumpur, okay, good. Let's see. Can we add the just touring now? We can add the Twin Towers, right? If we heart that, save that to a trip, and view that trip, we should see that the Twin Towers, there we go, there's the Twin Towers. Oh, that actually looks correct, because we should be somewhere here. This is the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, right? And the smaller airport should be somewhere around here. Oh, I can't find it, but it should be somewhere around here. So, if we are somewhere on this part, the Twin Towers should be on our around 2 o'clock. And if you look at our 2 o'clock, I see a tall building right there. That might be actually it. That might be it, huh? Ah, pretty cool. Oh, that's nice. Oh, the views. Alright, but I think the video will run super long if I keep this up, so I'll cut it here and I'll bring you guys back when we're close to doing our approach, okay? When we're about to make that turn. Catch you guys in a bit. There's the airport, guys. Subang, Malaysia. Whiskey Mike, Sierra Alpha. But we still have quite a ways to go. Oh, looks like there's a stadium there as well. Pretty cool looking. Man, that is beautiful. Yes, but we still have quite a ways to go because we'll be like in a huge downwind leg here, going straight forward there. Make our way, turn right, and then follow the ILS approach into runway 15, I believe. All good, all good. More time to explore the scenery. Ah, so good. Here's another shot. Figured you guys wanted a bit of eye candy. Oh my goodness, right? I'm not even sure which one is part of the custom Flight Sim 2 scenery and which one is part of the default one. But everything just looks amazing. Oh my goodness. Wow. Thankfully we got some nice weather today. Actually, there's like a single square there which looks a bit different, the shading. Maybe that's the only thing that my Flight Sim 2 scenery adds, huh? I'm not so sure. Okay, but I like it. You know what? It's actually such a nice day outside. Maybe we don't even need to follow the entire approach and arrival. Yeah. Because we can actually do a visual approach in here. Should I? Let's see. We can do that. Maybe we can start descending. Alright, so let me pull back on the throttle here. Maybe lower it by around 10 inches. So from around 30 inches, go down to 20. That should give us a nice descent rate. There we go, starting our descent, even though we still have autopilot for the course there, for the heading. That now is descending steadily. That looks good. Let's see, ILS approach, we should have it tuned already. ILS is 110.3. So if we put 110, actually go to nav, go to heading, 110.3. Yeah, there it is. Glide slope's actually alive. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what we can do is change this course to a 149 course. That's the final approach course for the runway. For runway 15 makes sense. So that's 15, that's 149. Okay, looks good. So we're exactly on a downwind leg here. And we're starting our descent. Let me pull back on the throttle more. Bit of mixture in there. Rich it up a bit as we descend. Looking good. There you can see the glide slope. We are above the glide slope because this line is below us. That means we're above the glide slope. And so we have to continue descending. We have to continue moving forward here until that line goes above us so we can meet it properly. I'll show you bit by bit. That's okay. Actually, we can even do that. Let's see, where are we in relation to the airport? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's quite far. For a plane as small as us, that should be actually no problem. Yeah, let's make it a bit more visual. Let's hand fly this thing. Let's get a bit of airtime in. Some hand flying action. Make our turn to base leg here. And I recently just learned about the coordinated turns, or the not coordinated turn, but the standard rate of turn rather. I only started looking at the turn coordinator here and making sure that my wing is only up to that point. There you go. That's the standard rate of turn. Because before I always just targeted 30 degrees of bank, which is not really ideal, I now realize. Right, 2,500 should actually be the initial approach fix. So let's slow down the descent here. 1 second, 7.6, okay. Yeah, we're not really going to follow it exactly. We're just going to use it as a guide. Because we can easily dive through here. Not really dive, maybe that's not the best indication. There it is. Yeah, with the weather as good as this, my goodness, flying visually. Not flying visually is a shame. For sure we'll have some instrument approaches in the near future like what we had in the first episode, but this is the part I like, you know, being able to mix it up. Right, so let's go do our gumps check. Oh crap, yes, I totally missed that now, but that's perfect. We need to switch tanks anyway. So yes, let's move on to the... Actually, the right tank still is not consumed enough. Look at that. Yeah, because we use the left tank for climb and the right tank we're just using mainly for cruise, right? For economy cruise, so it's not really that hurting. So let's keep it on the right tank. Let's lower our landing gear here. Let's make sure that my switch over here, you have that automatic gear extension. Maybe I should have turned that on initially beforehand. Alright, there we go. Gumps check, gas, we check that. Right tank is okay. Undercarriage, we have 3 greens. Alright, so landing gear is down. Mixture, full forward. Props, full forward. Switches, so let's turn on the boost pump to low. Fuel tanks, not fuel tanks, landing lights. Looking good. Alright, and we can do this visually. Looking good there. Is that a plane in front of us? Yeah, you can see. There was a plane. I wonder if that guy's AI or a friend flying with us. That's pretty cool. Right, but yes, it was such a shame to fly all the way to the entire arrival when it's such a clear day outside and we can enjoy the scenery. There's the glide slope. We're right bang in the middle now. That's perfect. There's the glide slope. Those 2 white things. So let's stay in the middle. We also have 2 red, 2 white puppy lights. Oh, a bit too low now. Let's adjust. Recover. One hand on the yoke, one hand on the throttle. There we go. Start the descent again. And we should now be in safe flap extension speed. So let me deploy 1 notch of flaps. Get 2 notches in. Get 3 notches in. Oh, pretty interesting winds here. Look at that crosswind, guys. Interesting. A bit low. That's fine. Adjust. Trimming up. There it is. Is that guy landing on the opposite side of the runway? He is, isn't he? Crap, we might have to go around here. Ignore him. Might not be the best advice. But yeah, I think he's taxiing out already. Whoa. And yes, you can kind of feel the winds coming through the buildings in there. Interesting. Right, let's continue that approach. Good. And the plane just disappeared, didn't it? Yeah, no more. Okay, let's continue that then. Right, 75 knots now. Last check, gas, undercarriage, mixture, prop, switches, everything looks good. 3 green, landing gears down. Alright, let's continue with the landing. Alright. Let's keep that there. Keep that going. Cool. Shallow out the descent here. Pull back on the throttle. Go to idle. Keep it steady. There you go. Why didn't that wasn't as smooth as I wanted. That is something I still need to learn, but it was a safe landing, so I'll take it. No complaints here. Looking good. Visual approach for the win with a little bit of guidance from the ILS. I'll take it. Alright. Turn off the boost pump. We should be able to turn off here. Have a look at the diagram. Oh, let's turn off at the next one. I think it's better. Cool. I would have said it's a short trip, but it's not really, is it? An hour-long trip because of all the extra flavors, but hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. Hello Kuala Lumpur, time to start our food trip. And for the next episode, guys, we'll most likely be doing a live stream for this. I know some people wanted to join in on the world tour. You guys can join me then. So I'll be streaming on Wednesday, 8 a.m. Singapore time. That's Wednesday midnight Zulu time. So 0000 Zulu on Wednesday. I'll be live streaming and we'll be continuing this leg. We'll be doing flight planning from start to doing the actual flight. We'll try and read the weather, see where we can go, and it will be amazing. So you guys are more than welcome to join in. I turn off the landing lights, flaps going up. Let's go and find a parking spot. Let's see. There are some planes in front there. I guess we can go to that point. Turn off the strobes. Transponder to on. And I love those sounds. Love the sound of this engine. Properly old school, right? Has anyone watched Black Widow yet? If you guys have watched it, for those who are fans of the Piper Arrow, you might have fun in that movie. That's the only spoiler I'll be saying. It's a bigger plane than I expected, but that's okay. Oh, there it is. That's the GA ramp. Okay, let's go there. Cool stuff, guys. So thanks for hanging out with me. I think this airport I've been to in real life as well, because I think some regional airports, some smaller airliners, some smaller airlines actually go here instead of on the main international airport in KL. Because yes, it's a bit less crowded, as you can see, not as many activities, and it's still in Kuala Lumpur anyway. So I think like the budget airlines, some of them actually arrive here, if I remember correctly, if this is the one. I think there's an airline called, if I remember, Firefly, something along those lines. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry for the length again, and yes, please let me know how we can improve the format, right? It's a constant work in progress, but I just want to share as much as possible, all the sites, all the insights, all the blunders as well. Man, that sounds amazing. Okay, looking good right there. I'll take it. Parking brake. Turn off the avionics. PME. I love hearing those switches. This is why I also wanted to share that with you guys, because it's just ASMR vibes, right? ASMR vibes. Alright, looking good. Turn off the panel lights here as well. Okay, we can pull the mixture now. And yes, how can you resist that sound of the shutdown? Turn off the fuel tanks, and now I will remember to... Where is it? There you go. Turn off the magnetos. That's something I always forget. Good. Beacons can go off, and we are done, guys. Welcome to KL. Let the food tripping begin. Catch you guys in the stream for the next leg of the tour. Oh, perfect. 42 minutes only. Maybe that's the actual flight time, right? So, have a good day. Clumsy flying, and catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. See you soon.